Welcome to the land of long live play where greatness is always waiting. Welcome to the PlayStation Experience. It is I, your boy, Dat Ninja Dev, and I'm joined by my main man down in Florida, Mr. Delvin Cox. How goes it this morning?
I am doing good on this early Sunday morning. So, hats off to you.
That's what's up. How? It's not that early for you, is
Oh,
it?
oh no, it's 10 o'clock in the morning. I was about to say, it's not early.
Still
It's our
early.
usual recording time.
Yeah, early. Just because it's 10 o'clock in the morning doesn't make it not early. Early
Yeah.
enough.
You want to know early? I've been up since 3 a.m. I don't want to hear it.
That's your fault. not
Wow.
I laid down for a nap at 3 p.m. yesterday, and I guess I needed the sleep because I woke up at 3 a.m. So
That's good that you got
That's
all
not
that
a
sleep,
nap.
man. That's a coma.
Mhm. Jeez. Also joining us, as you hear, is the Secretary of the Spoil, the Platinum Princess herself, Miss Haley Nicole Miller. How are you doing this morning?
drinking as much caffeine as possible because I'm going to see my grandparents this afternoon for the first time since December.
Wow.
It's great.
Always nice to see family, right?
We know the deal with my family. My grandparents are all right, but we'll see how that goes because my dad's new girlfriend and her kids are going to be there as well, and he only refers to me as Haley in front of them. But we'll see how that goes because I don't know if my grandparents have gotten the memo, so may have some explaining to do to a 5 and a 3-year-old today.
Ah,
Well then, such is life. So outside of that, how's your week been, Haley?
Let's see. I'm halfway through the 4th season of Blind Spot, so just getting through that. I started rewatching The Walking Dead because the final season starts in like 3 weeks. Caught up on Superman and Lois, and if they're setting up what I think they're setting up, Delvin, you're gonna lose your mind when you actually get caught up because I know you have not started.
nope, I have not.
And then what else? I finished the Fear Street trilogy. That was pretty good. Very very glad to see that they subverted one of my most hated tropes in media. Care to take a guess which one?
I have no idea.
Kill off the gay character immediately.
Yes, the trope is referred to as bury your gays, but yeah, they subvert that in the best way possible. And that's all I can say without spoiling the movie. Actually, all 3 movies. But what else? I saw Fast and Furious 9, which, I went to a movie theater on Friday because we finally reopened them here. That was fun. As of yesterday, I'm fully vaccinated because it's been 2 weeks since my second shot. I finished Watch Dogs Legion Bloodlines, which we'll talk about in depth later because we got a question about that. And I jumped back into Assassin's Creed Valhalla for a little bit to grab an item from Retta. So
Nice full week.
yeah.
All right. What about you, Delvin? How was your week?
My week was busy, so I literally didn't play anything. Only thing I think I played a little bit of, what was it? Batman a little bit. I played a little bit of that, and I played a little bit of Horizon Zero Dawn. Maybe like 10 minutes in each game. So that's not nothing to talk about in terms of everything. I've been so busy because either I've been on a lot of podcasts getting interviewed all week. So it's like almost every day this week I've been on a different podcast being interviewed. And then when I wasn't interviewed, I was on a podcast co-hosting with somebody, my friend Jay Sandlin, who's like a comic book creator. And the person he was interviewing was like, man, you're freaking cool. Can I come on your podcast? So it was like, all right, I guess we can do this the next day. So I ended up having that person on my podcast, and it's been busy. Straight up.
Nice. Yeah, me too. I've been pretty busy. Only thing I played was Bloodlines, but it's been work, kid stuff, dealing with them and trying to figure out stuff for them to do. Having them in soccer, about to sign them up for basketball, and then probably gonna send them to the Boys and Girls Club for these last couple of weeks before school starts, even though it feels like school just ended. So weird. But yeah, we really gotta find more things for them to do because they're losing their minds. We're losing ours. So
That always freaks me out. I forget that you guys go back in August when kids here go back in September.
we didn't always go back in August. Like, that's new to me. We used to go back in September. I have no idea why they're going back at the beginning of August instead of September this year. It's really weird.
I know my best friend, like throughout their entire time in high school, they went back in August, but they finished in May. Whereas we've always finished in June and gone back in September. So
that's all I've ever known is September to June as well. So this August to May stuff is new. So it's weird.
wild.
But yeah, I think they have like 3 weeks before they have to go back to school. So gonna go ahead and find some stuff for them to do because they need to get out the house.
But before we move on, are either of you going to see Snake Eyes next week?
No.
I don't go to the movies.
I didn't go to the theaters for Black Widow, so why in the hell would I go to the theaters for Snake Eyes?
I don't know. I'm just asking if you're going to actually watch it. It's G.I. Joe. That's why I was asking.
I'll watch it, but I'm not going to the theaters for it. Nah.
I'll watch it eventually. I still haven't seen Black Widow, and I have access to see it. I just watched Loki yesterday, so watching stuff takes forever.
I've seen episode 1 of Loki and then just haven't gone back to it. I know about the big episode 6 thing. I'm not saying anything, Dev. Don't worry. I know what. Okay. I know. Well, I wasn't sure what you've watched of Loki.
I feel like the entire world has seen it at this point.
I don't want to spoil that.
I mean, and also, I'm not gonna say who it is, but also I don't even think it can be considered a spoiler because they were announced as casted for Ant-Man 3. So as that specific character, I'm not saying it. Relax.
No, but I'm saying even with that casting, like you wouldn't even know that it has anything to do with this.
This show, yeah.
I don't know, but that was I don't know. I think the more surprising thing is like season 2 is a thing. So
see, that's not surprising to me because early in the year they announced that.
No, they didn't.
They did. A lot of people just missed it, but it was announced. It wasn't. Yeah. And even at the end of the credits, it was like, he'll be back for season 2. It was like, yeah, we know that already. Most people, I mean, it depends on how closely you follow stuff.
I follow it pretty closely, and I didn't see that news at all.
I'm on like a Loki review podcast with my friend. They're doing a Loki podcast review and stuff. And I mentioned that to them. Like, they said it's going to be season 2 of this show. They're like, what? I said, yeah, they announced that when the show was announced. Like a long time ago, that was announced.
I don't know. It'll be very interesting, but also I saw a tweet that was really funny this week. This is not a spoiler. Fuck it. I'm saying it anyways. It's not a spoiler for Loki. It's a joke tweet on Twitter, but it's actually really funny. Doctor Strange has to resolve a multiversal war because his dumbass texted and drove in 2016.
Yeah?
I mean, it's not wrong. It's not wrong. But yeah, it'll be interesting to see how all this stuff, pans out. I don't even know. I think a lot of people, unless they are big into Marvel, had no idea what the end of seasons. Idea what that was.
Yeah, I had no idea who that was. I saw a bunch of people like the Married to the Games Discord and the and I know Seth over in PSVG land was like, I don't understand the significance of this. It's like it's pretty significant.
I think even if you don't know who it is, I still feel like it's significant regardless. Like even if you don't know who that particular character is, like you just saw what happened. So it's a lot going on. But
I will say this, not to give any spoilers. It's the biggest reveal the MCU shows have had so far.
Yeah, it's
in terms of like characters they're bringing into the universe. It's by far the biggest one.
It also kind of lends credence to the theory of why the Spider-Man No Way Home trailer has not been released yet.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
So, yeah.
Because for a movie that's coming out in December and we're almost in August, you'd think we'd have at least seen some promotion for that movie yet, and all we have are the figurines that have like leaked and are now being like officially released.
I mean, do you need any more promo for a Spider-Man movie other than a logo and saying it's coming?
No, but I think people are very curious to see whether or not some of the things that have been said about this film are actually happening. Like we know Alfred Molina for sure is in it because he just doesn't care about NDAs.
Yeah, him, Jamie Foxx. We'll see
Yeah.
what happens. I'm very curious to see it all.
I'm very curious to see how that happens. It'll be great.
Yeah. Excellent. All right, well, let's jump into some questions because we've got quite a few. So, our first question comes from TPR over on the Discord. He says, a couple of hardware questions for y'all. What's going on with enabling this NVMe expansion? More than halfway through July and not a peep from Sony. And do you guys think 1440p support is coming? I know Sony commented on it saying that if the demand is there, they'll do it. But when do you guys think they will, if at all?
In the 1440p support, I wouldn't expect it until January, probably. On the NVMe slot, I have no idea what the hell is going on because they've said summer and then we've heard nothing. So,
I mean, it's still summer.
Yeah.
for like 4 weeks, for like a month.
For both of these, whenever the hell Sony goddamn pleases, that's when it'll happen. Like, I have stopped expecting anything. It'll just happen whenever they're ready at this point. That's just how Sony rolls. It sucks. But whenever they deem it's really ready and they've got it working to where they feel they're ready for it to behave and there's drives available and stuff like that, then that's when I think they'll enable that through a firmware patch. And I feel like the same thing for 1440p. I think once they have it working in a way that they want it to be, where they're comfortable with this performance, I think that they'll allow that as well.
Once they started letting you download PS5 games to your external hard drive, I'm like, oh, this thing is not coming for a while. I feel like that was kind of like a sign that this is not coming anytime soon. So probably, hopefully, fall this year.
Yeah. I mean, fall will be good just for any new games because fall is usually like the big season for all the third party stuff. So
I mean, even not accounting, like, we still don't know whether or not Horizon's coming this year. I have a feeling it is, but we still don't have an official confirmation on that. But, like, even without Horizon, like, this fall is already packed. And, yeah, not particularly for every gamer, but, like, just in, like, the span of, like, 6 weeks, you've got Life is Strange, Far Cry 6. You've got 2 Life is Strange games because you've got Life is Strange True Colors plus the remastered collection of Life is Strange 1 and Before the Storm. You've got Far Cry 6, Riders Republic, Rainbow Six is sometime.
that got delayed. It got delayed till next year.
Did it?
I think it did, yeah.
Okay.
And Rise Republic got delayed to, I think,
That's
October
why
28th or something.
Yeah, that's why I said the span of 6 weeks because I was including like from the 10th of September onwards. Those are big games. Then you've got Dying Light 2 in December, and stuff in between that still hasn't been announced yet. Like, we know the new Call of Duty's coming in there at some point. So
we know how much of a space hog those games are.
yeah.
Yeah, so hopefully, by the fall they'll have something, but I wouldn't hold my breath.
It ain't looking good. Like I said, once they open up that and say, hey, you can now download PS5 games on your external hard drive, it's like, ugh.
Yep. Too bad you can't play them from there. It's just storage. You got to move things back and forth.
Yeah.
That's better than having to constantly delete and reinstall, though.
Yeah,
I feel like it's the same thing. For me, you still got to delete something and move something over. Just delete it and install. Call it a day. Yeetus, deletus. Our next question comes in from Justin over in the Discord. He says, what are you planning to do with your PS4 now that you have a PS5? I have a hard time getting rid of old consoles since I never got to keep my childhood consoles. I just put my PS4 back into the original box and into the closet. Seems like a waste.
I sold mine already. I sold it to a friend who was looking for a PS4. So
I traded mine in as soon as I got my PS5. I don't need, especially since it's completely backwards compatible. I have no use for it, like, at all. So I was like, all right, I don't need this no more. And if it wasn't backwards compatible, I would have kept it, but because it's completely backwards compatible, like I don't need this anymore. So I traded it in, got a bunch of credit and stuff, bought some games, bought an extra controller, and that was good.
That would probably be the smart thing to do. However, I keep all my consoles. I don't like trading stuff in. I'm not a trade person, and just for me, it's like $100. It's just like it's not worth it. So like my PS4 Pro is in the living room, so my kids use that to play on. My original PS4 is in my bedroom, and that's more of a Blu-ray player, media machine than anything else. I still have both my fat PS3, my slim PS3. I've got my PS2. I've got my PS1. I kind of just keep consoles. I like having them around. Like being able to go back and like look at the history, the legacy, all that good stuff. One day, when I have a true man cave, I'll be able to just put all that stuff on display shelves and stuff. But yeah, I have all that. I still have my Super Nintendo, my original NES. I have a Genesis, all that stuff. So I am a keeper of the consoles. I just like to have them just cause.
I keep enough stuff in my house. I cannot possibly keep all my consoles as well. I have too
I mean-
much. If you've seen the pictures of all the memorabilia and stuff like I have of that. Plus, I'm thinking about like having a hip hop section of like albums that I love, like Life After Death and Ready. I cannot do it.
Do you have those in vinyl or are you CDs?
I'm gonna start buying them in vinyl. I have some in
Nice.
CDs. I'm gonna start buying everything in vinyl and hanging it up.
Nice,
Getting cool
nice.
like hip hop memorabilia. So yeah, can't do it.
Yeah. I don't have any of stuff like that. All I have is video game things. All of them right now are in boxes in our garage because this office is also a classroom. But once that changes, I'm taking over one side and putting up my stuff. Like, deal with it.
Is it going to change though? I know the
Look
mask
here.
man. I
Look
know the
here.
mask mandate was
Look
just
here, woman.
reinstated.
Do not put that bad juju on me, all right? These kids better go back to school.
I just had to
Because if
ask.
they don't, they're getting a new address because we can't coexist here again.
I literally just had to ask because I know that the mask mandate was just reinstated, and I'm already seeing people be like, "Oh, I'm fully vaccinated. I'm not complying with this." And I'm like, "You are literally missing the point. Like, you're missing the point of why the mask mandate is being reinstated. Like, it's to protect others. Yes, you're fully vaccinated. I'm fully vaccinated and still wearing a mask. It's to protect others."
Yeah. I don't know about other states, but I know it went back into effect for LA County, and I believe San Diego followed suit. We have not in Kern. I don't know about the rest of the state, but yeah, they reenacted the mask mandate in certain parts of my state.
Of Cali, yeah.
Yeah, we'll see what happens. But these kids better go back to school, otherwise, somebody's getting murdered. Because I can't take another work from home with these kids. It'll drive me insane.
I feel you.
Can't do it. So, yeah. Moving along. Next question comes in from PSVG Kevin. He says, now that most of you have finished Watch Dogs Bloodline, what were your thoughts and what are your hopes for the future? Did you finish it, Delvin? You didn't even play it?
I didn't even play it
Yeah.
like, at all.
Do you have any plans on playing it?
When the season pass goes on sale,
So never then. Welcome to Ubisoft.
it'll go on sale.
It won't.
The game goes on sale. They don't ever really put the
Watch Dogs
um,
season pass has not gone on sale once
Yeah.
since the game launched, and it won't because the game flopped. Like
I-
Bloodlines
it-
is
Eventually, I think it will because they had a season pass sale this week on the PlayStation Network.
yeah,
Definitely.
and
It
no
might.
Ubisoft title season passes were in there for a very
That's how I
specific
got,
reason.
I've got a couple of Ubisoft games season passes like that.
Okay, Delvin, I'm not disagreeing with you. My point I'm making is that their current slate of games, the only one that's done well is Valhalla. That is the only season pass you will see go on sale. The rest of the games have flopped.
You'll probably be able to get the gold version for $30-$40, which I've seen a couple of times, and I've almost pulled the trigger. So
What, on Valhalla?
No, on Watch Dogs, it's gone on sale like dirt cheap
And that's my point. I can
with
wait.
the season pass. I just haven't pulled the trigger.
I have enough stuff where I can wait. I don't have to
Yeah.
rush to play this or anything like that.
Well, okay, I think Dev was asking, though, because I want to answer this as non-spoilery as possible, even though there's not really much to spoil about the game. I do want to call out that, like, final mission, like the mission where you play as, you know who I'm talking about.
Yeah, wrench at the end. There's an extra mission after you finish all the fixer contracts in the game.
That's not an extra mission, by the way. That's a regular fixer contract that you could do before the game. But for you and Kevin, I'm guessing, it glitched. I was able to do it before I finished the thing. Kevin was like,
It didn't.
Kevin was
Yeah.
Kevin messaged me. He was like, don't forget to play this mission after the thing. And I sat there for half an hour waiting for a mission to pop. I'm like, did you mean
Yeah. So I think it glitched for you because it didn't pop up until I had to finish all of the fixer contracts, and it pops up as a last fixer, and it references like everything else. So I figured it's supposed to happen after.
No, see, here's the thing. I didn't do any story missions after starting to play as Wrench, because that's when that last character that you can do missions for unlocks. I didn't do any of the story missions as Wrench, except for the one where you're forced to, right? And then I just did all the fixer contracts right after that, and it unlocked for me, and I was able to do it right there. So I think it depends on the order you play them in, but like...
No, I did the same thing you did. I only played the one you were forced to and didn't play any of them because I'm like, I don't feel like doing this. I just want to beat the story part. But it didn't pop up until I finished every single fixer mission.
No, I finished every single fixer mission before moving on with the story once I started playing as Wrench. That's how I was able to do it beforehand. But I wasn't referring to that last fixer contract with a specific character. I was referring to the PT clone mission where when you're playing as Jax.
Oh yeah,
that was very like creepy, and also way to go Ubisoft to just say, yeah, that's our character. He likes to like just kill everybody.
I mean, it made sense to me. I hated it because it was just so long. I feel like they could have shortened that a great deal, but
it's like a 45-minute mission. Like it was ridiculous.
Yeah, it was long, and you didn't really do anything. I'm like, I get it. Like I got it. It just didn't need to be that long. But overall, I really enjoyed.
I did. Yes.
That content. I want that to be the regular game. Like I have no desire to play with a bunch of just random characters.
Let me put it this way. I beat Bloodlines and uninstalled the game, and I don't know that I will ever reinstall it because that is the only single-player DLC content that was established as coming. So, here's my hope for the next Watch Dogs game. Never touch the play as every character ever again, please. Just give us defined characters, please.
Aren't there two more supposed storylines coming with different characters?
No, they're like single strain missions for the extra characters.
So it's not going to be something like Bloodlines. Because I would have swore it was something for some other, like two other characters.
Yeah, there's a mission for the assassin character and a mission for the the fourth character that's being dropped as well. And that's it. That's all I know of.
Right. So you don't think it'll be something like Bloodlines? You think it's going to be one mission?
That's what it was for the other two DLC characters.
There were two other DLC characters?
Yes.
Well, I hope that that's not the case and that they actually have something a little more fleshed out for the rest of the DLC. Because I really enjoyed this and I really like the storyline of Legion, but I don't want to play as just randoms off the street.
You don't like playing as a grandma?
No.
I never recruited a grandma once. I know somebody whose entire team was all grandmas, and I was like, how do you even enjoy playing as that? They can't climb ladders and they can't climb anything, so it just makes doing things really hard. Like, why?
Yeah. That just
I don't know. I hope whatever the next Watch Dogs game, because inevitably we'll get another one at some point. But I just hope they don't do the play as randoms off the street thing again. Just give us defined characters, please.
Yeah. That's what they need. They need to just go ahead and realize that this doesn't work. And that they need to go ahead and create an actual storyline around the characters, because I feel like the heart and soul of Watch Dogs, honestly, is the characters. Like, whether you liked Aiden or not, the Watch Dogs was really like about his story.
Yeah.
Part 2, like, it was about Marcus and Satara and their crew and Wrench and like that crew. Like, that really, everything around them is what happened, and it was good. So to just say we're gonna forget about that and do this randomness where the characters don't really matter, it just completely like gets rid of the heart and soul of what Watch
Yeah.
Dogs is.
Also, like the every character off the street thing was also just weird because there'd be like different quality levels to specific characters. So you'd play as one character and it sounds like they've never voice acted in their life, which like that's fine. You want to break into the industry, that's fine. And I'm not like shitting on them for, but like you can audibly tell who's done voice work before and who hasn't. And generally that's not something you would see in like a game at all. And then others just sound like they're mixed badly and speaking into a tunnel when they speak. Like the first, like, so right after that first character you play as, like the one where like you can't, like if you're playing on permadeath, you can't die even as that character. Like you die and you respawn as that character. You know who I'm talking about, the 0-day mission dev.
Mm-hmm.
Essentially, like right after playing as that character, like the first character that you unlock that I picked in that game, they sounded like they were speaking into a can the entire time whenever they spoke. And it's just like, then you'd play as like one of their prestige operatives from the season pass and they sound way better. And it's like, why is there a difference in voice level and quality for each of these characters? Like, I don't know.
That is
it's weird.
Definitely a problem you'll run into because if you have that many characters, you got to voice them all, right?
Yeah.
That would seem like a lot of money to hire a lot of voice actors. Unless you hire like 3 or 4 of them that have the ability to do multiple different voices. But even that, I feel like is expensive.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's not do this again.
Also, like,
had people in the studio do voices for some characters.
That's what I imagine.
They did. Also, I know I mentioned last week that you can play as Aiden and Wrench in like the main story. There are still specific times where you're required to switch to a rando, like a DJ or something at some point. But like, they voice acted their entire character for that storyline too. Like you lose a bit of their personality in it because the story doesn't really allow for it, but you can do that if you want.
I might go back and actually play the game and play as much of it as Wrench or Aiden as I can.
Yeah.
Again, I'm intrigued by the story. I think it's pretty cool.
What I played of the story, great, but then I transferred my save and trophies broke and didn't import, and I'm not retaking 8 districts to get trophies again because that's ridiculous.
First world trophy problems.
Shut up. I hunt trophies. Deal with it. But like I'm not restarting my entire game because like 6 trophies didn't pop. Like I was maybe 40 hours into that game. I'm not restarting it because 6 trophies didn't pop. But also, I'm not intrigued enough to deal with all these random characters that just aren't interesting.
Yep. Damn it. Get your life together, Ubisoft. Don't do this again. It was bad. Real bad. All right. Next question comes from Hollywood Bones. He says, wrestling is back on the road. Woohoo! Just scored tickets at WWE Raw for September right here in Cincinnati. I'm so pumped. I haven't been to a live show in 20 plus years. What is something that you haven't done, seen, or whatever in so long that could get you hyped like I am?
I haven't been to a concert since I was like 18, so that'd be nice. But they're all usually held in Toronto, and I don't know how to get there right now. So,
well, I just did mine. I went to AEW Dynamite last week.
Nice.
The first wrestling show back from the pandemic. The actual first official wrestling show back from the pandemic. That's going like touring and stuff like that. I had a blast. And I think I'll probably go later on this year to Chappelle. Dave Chappelle's coming to Miami, so I'll probably go to that.
Nice. Yeah, I can't think of anything that I haven't been able to do. The only thing that would actually get me hype, honestly, would be able to play some basketball. Like, actually go hoop. That's the one thing that I haven't done in probably almost 2 years at this point. That would get me hype. Like, everything else that I normally do, I've been able to do. Like, I don't care about going to the movies. I don't go to concerts. I don't do live events like that. But everything else that we normally do, like, hasn't shut down, really. So, other than actually going to play basketball, which I just haven't been able to do in forever, that would be the one thing that I would just be really, really excited for, because I miss hooping something terrible. So that's about all I can think of. But I'm glad you're able to get out there and go see a live show. Hollywood Bones, enjoy. Those always look like fun, but never been to one.
It's a blast.
All right. And our last question comes from Mr. Pastor Coach Ham. He says, just this past week, I played through a garbage truck on fire of a game. Fast and Furious Crossroads. From beginning to end, it was a janky, glitchy, and had terrible voice acting. And yet, it was all about family and was a good time. What's the last game you have had this experience with?
The Wheelman, starring Vin Diesel
I
on
love that game,
PS3.
I love that game. That game is fantastic.
But it's the same thing. Like, it's janky and glitchy, and it was a fun time.
That game is more of a Fast and Furious game than the Fast and Furious game is. And it's not even close.
Trying to think. A janky, glitchy game that I enjoyed.
I guess Terminator Resistance for me. Like I said, it was a low budget Terminator game, but I had a blast playing it.
I mean, yeah, low budget, but it wasn't glitchy, and even if it was, it's not anymore. They
It
fixed
had it was glitchy when I played it. It wasn't like game breaking glitchy like Crossroads. I played Crossroads.
What about Rambo? Did you play Rambo? Because that's probably a better experience. a better glitchy experience to talk about.
I did play Rambo actually. I didn't. Did that come out at the end of a console cycle or something like that?
I think it was PS3 end, yeah.
That's why I didn't finish it because it came out in the console cycle. I was just like, I'm on PS4 and I'm not playing this no more. But yeah, I did play Rambo and it was a complete mess. Yeah.
Let me just double check for you. I know it came out at some point.
Really trying to think something that was just really janky and just
See, Dev, you don't play the janky games like that.
I don't. I really don't.
Big budget Hollywood blockbuster polished games.
I'm very, very picky in the games that I play. I don't just play anything. So I can't think of a game that was that bad that I played through like start to beginning and was just like, oh, this game is a pain in the butt to play, but I'm enjoying it. I can't think of anything.
Rambo, the video game, actually came out in 2014, so it came out directly on the PS4, Delvin.
Yeah. So that's why they never finished it. I was like, yeah, fuck this. I would have, because I love the Rambo movies, by the way.
I'm not judging you if you like Rambo. My point being is that I know the game was like an on-rails, glitchy, broken mess.
Yeah. I would have 100%, like if it had a PS4 version, I would have 100% finished that game. Because I love Rambo that much.
Delvin, it released directly onto the PS4. There was no PS3 version.
It was a PS4 version.
So I can play it on PS4 then.
You mean PS5? Or are you talking about playing
PS5?
Yeah.
Well, PS5. Yeah, I don't have that shit.
Yeah. I believe so. Yes. Actually, let me check the PlayStation Store for you. Keep talking. I'm just checking the PlayStation Store to see if it's there.
Because I will play that. I will 100% play that. I thought it was a PS. It looked that bad. I thought it was a PS3 game.
Yeah, I know it looked bad. Like the images on Google don't.
It is janky. It is broken. It does not play good. It is ugly.
So searching Rambo just pulls up a bunch of not. I hate the way the PlayStation Store search works. So like Rambo the video just has not. It brought up Rambo for Mortal Kombat, like the DLC pack for Rambo, and then and then it has highlighted the word "the" in every other thing as why it pulled up in the search results. And I'm like,
so
that's
annoying.
not what I'm looking for.
So annoying. That search is the worst.
Now, I can probably just check my download section to see if I can find it in there.
I guess the closest thing that I can think of to like a janky, broken mess, depending on how you look at it, could be Destiny. People really had a lot of issues with the way the first game was launched, the way the story played out, the way all the missions and everything, like it just came out in a weird state because they had to basically scrap the entire story because Activision was like, you're putting this game out. And Bungie was like, we ain't done. And they were like, no, you're putting this game out. So that's probably the closest thing. And I love Destiny. I actually really enjoyed the story. And I like the fact that there was story elements outside of the game. So I can read and look at lore and stuff like that. I love when games have an additional medium for me to actually go through and look at story and read stuff and find out stuff about. But that's probably the closest thing I can think of to a broken mess of a game that I enjoyed.
And that's not a broken mess of a game at all.
Also, lore outside of the game. Like, I don't know why people decry that. Like, yeah, it was not ideal, but also like it was interesting.
Because people are lazy and they want it in the game.
That's
even
my
though
favorite.
They typically don't read or listen to that stuff in the game.
That's my favorite thing, by the way. I don't know how the share screen button works, so I'm not going to touch it. But if people could see the tabs I have open, I have literally a wiki tab for season 4 of Legacies, which hasn't started yet, but it'll be updated when like they start filming and stuff. I have the Blind Spot wiki open for trivia facts about the show. I have the Walking Dead wiki open for literally like trivia facts about each episode. I literally yesterday read through the entire timeline of the series because like between the 3 ongoing Walking Dead series right now, like there's different timelines and how that works out, and it's cool to read. And then, you know, I have the Young Justice actual Wikipedia page open because there's no wiki page for it that actively decries the timeline. So, oh, right. I forgot to mention, so I'll bring it up here. Delvin, I started watching Young Justice season 3 because it was on sale for $10. So
that's great.
I think the difference between having a wiki open for a show versus a video game is the fact that video games are interactive, where movies and TV are passive. Like you're passively enjoying that. And I think when it comes to the interactive piece and you're playing through a story, like you want to have that stuff in the game. You don't want to have to go out. And Destiny was really bad with that. Like you didn't quite understand why you were doing a lot of the stuff, and a lot of the characters that you were fighting or beating or whatnot, all of their story and information was outside of the game.
Yeah.
And I think most people who were playing, mainly it's a first person shooter. Like I think that particular type of person really just wants to have it all in front of them instead of having to go read about why I killed this character or what this character's story is. So I think that was part of it. Plus, when you play a game like BioShock and all of their story tidbits that you come across are all read in game, they're voice acted, you can just press play and listen to them while you're playing. I think that kind of puts the whole Bungie Grimoire in a whole new website.
Also, didn't they jokingly mock the fact that there wasn't lore in the game with we don't have time to explain why we don't have time to explain?
I don't necessarily know if that was necessarily mocking the fact that there wasn't story. Like that actually led somewhere. There was a whole reason for all that. Plus, it was also the name of a gun. So that wasn't necessarily joking about the story not being in the game. That was actually tying into more.
I know things. It's still funny to think about though when like you ask a character why something's happening. Like, we don't have time to explain why we don't have time to explain.
Yeah, but. Yes, like I said, that's probably the closest thing to a broken mess of a game that I've played through. Because, yeah, I am not like Delvin. I am not going to go find all the games and play everything.
Delvin plays more games than I do.
I don't know how you do it, Delvin.
I just like playing games. That's kind of my
Where
thing.
do you have... It's not even like the like playing games. Like, where the hell do you have the time to play all of this shit?
The fuck if I know.
You got to play 2 games for 10 minutes this week. Like, how are you going to go play... whatever nonsense game I know you have queued up waiting to go? Like, where do you find the time?
Delvin has invented a time machine and won't share the recipe with anybody else.
No, honestly,
Clearly.
It's just I'm more of the type of person. If I don't like a game, I will give it up and don't give a fuck about it. Like in the all sense of the word, I may go back to it eventually. But if I play a game and it's like this sucks, I'm not having fun. Instead of keep trying to play it and try to get the story and enjoy, like, no, I'm good. I don't have to play this no more. I can wait till like a few years down the line or something like that, as opposed to sitting there playing a game for 30 hours saying, yeah, it's starting to get good now. No, you don't have 30 hours to get me. Either you get me or you don't get me. And if you don't get me, I don't need to play you anymore. So a lot of times I'll try stuff just to see if it's good or not. And sometimes I hit the jackpot and it's something that I love to death. Or sometimes it's like, yeah, this sucks.
I ain't got time for that. I very meticulously pick and choose games that I'm going to play because I know I don't have time to be like, well, let's try this one out. I can't do it. I can't do it.
I mean, I've done that a couple times. Like, what was it? A couple years ago, like in the same span of time that like Far Cry 5, Just Cause 4, and like a bunch of other games came out, and then I played Just Cause 4, and I was like, wow, this is not fun.
Yeah. I think I did that with Just Cause 4. That exact same thing. Like,
so here's the thing. I love the Just Cause series, and people decry Just Cause 3 as being like bad, and the story wasn't bad. The missions and stuff and like the destructive elements were great, but some of the challenges they had that required the game to be online only really like tanked the performance of that game, which, you know, but the story and like activities in Just Cause 4,
yeah, it wasn't
never played it. I think I have both Just Cause 3 and Just Cause 4. I never played either one of them.
Just Cause 3 I'd highly recommend if you're looking for a fun destructive time.
I always get them on sale for like $20, $10, something like that.
I got it for free because of Best Buy connections, but I never played them. And I probably won't. Not gonna lie.
I'm not gonna lie. The DLC for Just Cause 3 was really fun, like the lightning gun.
I don't even remember.
I would never even get to that DLC.
Also, there's a Thor reference in Just Cause 3 that's fantastic.
Maybe I'll look up the YouTube video on that.
I would. You can find Thor's hammer just stuck in a crater.
That's nice.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm gonna do
the game that I played that I loved that was janky as hell. Iron Man 2 for PS3. Not a very good game.
No, it really wasn't.
But I loved the hell out of it. Playing as Iron Man and doing all Iron Man things. Yeah.
A lot of the Marvel tie-in games were like that. They were fun to play, but they weren't really good.
Yeah. I agree.
Interesting. So just because Donnie says we don't answer questions, he had a question last week that we didn't answer that I completely forgot to put in. And it was, how do you like your console? Vertical, horizontal, or upside down? #hosting. So
completely stupid hashtag, I might add.
I agree.
You know how mine is. It's horizontal because I don't have space to set it upright. So,
yep. What about you, Devin? Team vertical or team horizontal?
Not that bullshit PlayStation did, but
idiots.
But
Herman Hulst did it. Like, I don't understand.
Like, how you do that? You make the system. Like, come on. Like, but yeah, to answer the question, I want to say team vertical because it's easier for me to get behind the console if I need to do certain things to it, like change inputs and outputs. Because I have a lot of stuff hooked up to one TV. I have a PS5, Nintendo Switch, a Roku, Xbox Series X, and I have something else hooked up to it.
How many inputs you got on your TV, sir? Mine has 3.
I have
only 3.
I have 3 yeah, but they're all 4K 60 outputs, so I'll take 3 over, 4 ports, but only 2 of them having 4K 60.
I have 3, but also I have an HDMI splitter hooked up to my TV.
Oh, okay.
Because I have it's a couple of things I have on that TV. I think I have I can't even remember all the stuff I have.
I used to have an HDMI splitter when I had the Xbox One. But whenever I turned the PlayStation on, for some reason, it would also automatically turn the Xbox Series, not Series, but the Xbox One on, and then it would default to the Xbox input for some reason, and I don't know why. So
that's weird.
Yeah.
I'm team vertical all the way because the PlayStation looks stupid on its side. It looks dumb. So yeah, team vertical all day, every day.
Definitely
Tower of Power.
Upside down.
Oh my god,
it's really stupid.
I can't believe the amount of people who have that thing upside down.
It's it's funny because it sits better that way, and most people don't realize that the stand isn't just for it to be vertical. You also put the stand on for horizontal. Like one of my friends who got one, he was like, "What stand?" He came with the stand. I was like, "Yeah, dumbass, it has a stand." He's like, "But it stands up on its own." I was like, "It does, but it has a stand. And he opened it up. He's like, "Oh my god, it's got a hidden screw in here too." I'm like, "Oh my, well, yeah, yeah, yeah,
I'm
Yeah.
sorry. I'm sorry. That's so funny. That is so funny. Like it's the first
yeah,
thing that you pull out of the box.
yeah." I I got nothing. I just know that he didn't realize that there was a stand for it, and then didn't know that you were supposed to screw it in. I don't know. I got nothing. But such is life. All right. Well, thank you all for your questions. We really appreciate them. They give us some good, interesting topics to just kind of delve through. And with that, let's go ahead and jump into our quick stories, then into our topic of the week. All right, Haley, what you got for us?
This one I find just a little bit interesting. Dirt 5 is getting more DualSense controller advances in a July 20th update. More haptic support, adaptive triggers, and a truckload of new content on the way for the off-road racer. Sorry, just scrolling through this to get to the actual DualSense information. Sorry. Okay, so along with all the content update being added, players on PS5 will feel more connected to Dirt 5 than ever before with this update as we implement full haptics and adaptive trigger support for the DualSense controller. I'm just surprised that Dirt 5 didn't already have this. So I
Yeah,
thought it did.
I did too. I was gonna say, wait, it didn't already have all of that haptic stuff?
Yeah. No.
I feel like that would be a fun game to actually play with the DualSense, just to be able to see what they do with the track and how everything feels. Like that could be pretty cool. Just knowing what they do with the DualSense for a lot of games, like it could be really fun to play a racer, especially one like Dirt.
Tying back into like the Watch Dogs things, I turned the haptics off because it was annoying every time you tried to fire the shotgun. And like, not that, sorry, not like the adaptive triggers. Sorry, I turned those off because there's no haptic in Watch Dogs. But I turned the adaptive triggers off because it got real annoying when it would lock the trigger every time you fired the shotgun. No, I'd like to fire the shotgun quicker than once every 10 seconds. Thanks. But
I don't think I noticed that.
well, I mean, you can also change away from the shotgun, but I didn't realize you couldn't change weapons in the middle of a mission. So that final mission was a real pain in the ass because I was stuck with Wrench's SMG and a shotgun.
Yeah, I had the same two things.
I think I died like 9 times in that mission because you can't even stealth it because they just send waves of enemies your ways while you're fighting a giant robot.
Yeah, I died a lot in that one too, and I'm like, I really wish I would have finished some of the other missions because having the little, like the LMG, I'm like that would have helped out a great deal.
Yeah,
This SMG and this shotgun aren't getting it done.
The SMG did a lot of great, but like it has such a small ammo capacity, it was annoying.
Mm-hmm.
And also like the adaptive triggers didn't really do anything for the SMG. It was really only like you would feel it on the shotgun, and it was just annoying. So I turned it off, and I only turned it off in the final mission. So,
wow. So they didn't have 3D audio in Dirt 5 either. Well, I'm glad they're adding all this stuff in. A million years later.
Yeah, the game came out what, November?
Yeah.
Better late than never, I guess.
Yeah. Interesting. Well, I don't know anybody who's playing Dirt 5, but for those of you that are, if you're still playing it, I'm sure this is going to be a very, very nice upgrade.
I'm sure it'll be a PS Plus title at some point.
I was going to say that exact same thing.
Yeah, I believe it. All right, moving on. What you got for us, Delvin?
So Netflix is going to start streaming video games soon.
Well, we don't have confirmation on that, but yes, it seems likely.
Yeah, it's a thing. So I wanted to ask both of you, would you want to play video games on Netflix? And
no.
God, why? Because this seems like, I guess, it seems like it's a logical step for Netflix to make.
Is it though?
I think it is because of their reach with movies and stuff like that, and because that market itself in terms of movies is getting so saturated because there's Paramount Plus, there's HBO Max, there's Amazon Prime Video. There's so much stuff taken away from their movie markets, and I feel like it's not the same for gaming, so they can probably get in there and get people who are already on Netflix to try to play. Hey, you can try to play this game or this game.
So here's my thing about everyone continually bringing up that Netflix isn't the leading person in movie streaming anymore. Yeah, that's fine. They're still going to survive because at this point Netflix is literally a venture capital like thing at this point, because literally like they continually lose billions of dollars every year, but then they get more and just continue to make more and more shows. Like Netflix is going to be fine. My favorite is when people tell me, "Oh, it'll be great when next year Netflix dies." I'm like, you are out of your mind if you think Netflix is going to die. Like, I don't think the investors for Netflix will let it die, because if it was going to die, it would have died as soon as Disney Plus had like twice the user install base in less than a year. That's not going to happen. Now, on the gaming front, the reason I say this is likely but not confirmed is there are, I don't know if it's mentioned in the story you have, Delvin, but there's been leaks of like the PlayStation logo and Ghost of Tsushima images in documents related to this. So it seems likely there might be a partnership between Sony and Netflix for this as well.
Everybody who says that, I'm like, you found images. That could be clip art of the idea of the games that they want to be able to have.
Like, it could be.
I see that. I'm like, that is such a far stretch.
I know. I'm bringing it up so people don't think we're ignoring it, but I also don't think that means anything at all. But it does seem likely that they're going to do this. Based on hiring info. I don't know. Here's my thing. They'll try to get into this thing. Will they survive? I don't know, because people keep going, oh yeah, Google Stadia is doing great. Are they? They shut down their development area. Like, yeah, they're still trucking along and just like supporting the service, but like at some point Google's gonna pull the plug because they decided that it wasn't. They're not
gonna pull the plug. I have friends who work at Google. Google, what their thing is, they want to put out like the lowest cost of entry. How do we get in there? How do we basically just get the thing started? And Google has done enough to where Stadia works, and they're like, we don't need to actually invest in games because that is more of an investment than we actually realized and we want to make. But as far as Google Stadia as a platform, they're not going to pull the plug anytime soon because it still does enough.
I wasn't suggesting soon. I was just based on Google's track record with like Google Glass and other things. It's likely the plug will be pulled at some point, but I don't see it happening anytime soon.
Stadia is going to be around for a long time, especially with this new integration into its new Chromecast, because it basically is a way of keeping you in the Google ecosystem. Stadia ain't going nowhere.
I don't know. Go ahead, Delvin.
I will say this, and I want to add this to this Netflix conversation, bring it back to them. I can see Netflix doing something in terms of making deals with companies like Capcom or and having like, hey, the Resident Evil movie just came out. Here you can also play the game on Netflix. Oh, hey, here's The Witcher. Here's the next season of The Witcher. You can also play The Witcher 3 on Netflix. I can see them doing something like that on here.
Sure, they're gonna have to. They're gonna have to do something because they're going to have to create all their own content. Like, that's the way that Netflix is going to have to go, because eventually all of these companies that are streaming their own stuff are just going to end up taking the stuff from Netflix. Like, they don't need to put it on Netflix.
Here's my favorite. Here's my favorite thing, by the way, when everyone mentions that everyone's pulling their content. Yeah, and in about 5 years' time, there will maybe be 4 streaming services again, because they're all trying to get a slice of the same pie. And when they realize they're not going to get the same slice of the pie, they're going to either pull the plug and come back to Netflix, or they're just gonna sunk cost fallacy. Like,
I don't think they will. Streaming is pretty much the way of the future, and you don't need to get the same slice of the pie because you still have all of your other avenues of getting that money, and then streaming just gives you another set of revenue.
Okay, I don't disagree with that. My point is that not all of these streaming services that keep coming out are going to survive. Is my point. They're not. There's no feasible way that they all will.
It depends on what you consider surviving, and what they determine is they're surviving. Like, not everybody's going to subscribe to everything, but I think they're going to have enough people subscribing to where most of these services aren't going to go anywhere and will also become bundled with other stuff.
Yeah, I'm
I
starting to
don't
see it
know.
like that now because
I don't know.
I look at Paramount Plus, and that's the one I didn't think was going to survive. But they have now you're looking like they have SpongeBob, and they just put out new
Hmm.
SpongeBob stuff every week. And now A
Yep.
Quiet Place 2 is on there. People are going to start buying into these type of things.
Yep. Even if you
here's
subscribe for just a month and then leave and then come back, like it's not. These streaming services aren't going anywhere. They're here to
here's
stay.
here's my favorite thing about people mentioning The Quiet Place is on Paramount Plus. No, it's not. It's on Amazon Prime here, and
So,
it's no additional cost. And before you ask, yes, we do have Paramount Plus here. Like it's a service we actually have, but A Quiet Place 2 is not on it here.
it's on it
Um,
here. And I was
it's
literally
Yeah.
going to watch it last night.
I know this is
Canada
like
doesn't drive that though.
Yeah.
U.S., UK, like the larger places are what drive a lot of that.
what?
All of these streaming services. There's so many that you guys don't have.
Yeah.
Where we have a lot more of them because it's just a bigger market. It's what drives it all.
Sure. All right. Whatever. My point being was that like not every streaming service has the same things in different countries because of licensing issues. So like for
Right.
example, you're referencing Paramount Plus for Quiet Place 2, when I could literally just open Amazon Prime and watch it right now for no extra charge. It's just part of my Amazon Prime subscription.
Yep, and
It-
that's the
it's-
deal that's in
it's-
place in Canada because of licensing, but it's also a much smaller market that's not going to determine the fate of the streaming services. Like that's the difference. Like the larger markets are what's going to end up determining the fates of those. And yeah, you'll have some licensing deals a little different in another country that's a much smaller market that they're not worried about. It's really going to be the bigger markets that dominate and that are going to determine the streaming service. And like Paramount Plus is a perfect example of one that people were like, it's probably not going to be, but then yeah, it is, especially when you think about some of the licenses that they have.
Yeah.
I
Like
mean,
Star
I'm
Trek.
not. I wasn't saying Paramount Plus was going to be one of the ones to die. That's not what I was insinuating. I don't know which ones are going to die, but I expect at least a couple will. My point being is that I hate the licensing differences because I would love to be able to just open HBO Max and watch a movie that's in theaters right now, but I can't because HBO Max doesn't exist here.
It's another reason for you to move to the U.S. It's just come on down.
Hi, the border is still closed. That's not an option.
Look, borders have been closed all time for some people, but they find a way to get in.
Yeah,
just saying.
hi. I would like to, I like.
Where there's a will, there's a way.
Sure, but no.
Come on, we got HBO Max. Come on down.
Yeah, HBO Max alone is not a good reason for me to pack up my entire life and move somewhere without hope of a job or anything, right? Like, come on now.
I will say this. I think we're more likely to see some of these streaming companies team up as opposed to them just go away. Like, for example, the Peacock WWE thing. WWE wasn't doing that great, so they said, hey, let's partner up with Peacock. We don't need this app no more.
We don't even have Peacock here. It's funny.
Yeah.
Also, that's a funny name for a streaming service, by the way.
It is. And also the same thing happened with the DC Universe one. Well, DC Universe
just died. It's just a comics app now. Now all that content's on HBO. But that's not teaming up. They were owned by the same company. There's a difference there.
A lot of these things are going to get put into other things eventually. We're probably going to end up having 4 or 5 main ones still.
That's what I was talking about.
But I don't think it's going to just go away. I think they're going to start eating each other's up essentially.
Which is what I was saying. I wasn't saying like
I don't even think that. I think you'll still have so many of them because it's like why for example, FX. Why kill it? You're gonna have people that are gonna want to be able to subscribe to, let's say, FX or Stars or whatnot for a low price, or AMC for a low price. Even if it's bundled in with some other larger one, you still keep the smaller apps for the people who just want to pay $5 or aren't paying attention to realize that, oh, I can just come over here where it's got everything.
Yeah.
Well,
so
FX
I don't think the vast majority of them going away.
Because they're kind of bundled into Hulu too.
But that's my point. You can still subscribe to FX without having Hulu. Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't think those smaller ones are going to go away because it's just another revenue stream.
It's funny that you mentioned the AMC streaming thing because I get emails for it all the time because I think I signed up for like email notifications from like The Walking Dead when I used to watch Talking Dead after like when I was watching it like live every week, and I just never unsubscribed from it. But it's very funny to like stream the show on AMC Plus via Amazon Prime, and that's not even a channel option for me to purchase in Canada. So like
AMC Plus is terrible, by the way.
I mean, sure.
I disagree. My wife loves it. We use it for what, Mad Men?
I only
And it worked just fine.
I'm not judging like whether or not you enjoy the channel. It's just very funny to get ads for like this $2.99 Amazon Prime channel. Because like a good example of this is like whenever y'all post those deals for Shudder, I can't use them even though I would love to because Shudder doesn't have its own app here. The only way to use Shudder is through Amazon Prime in Canada. So like you have to purchase the Shudder channel through that, and that's only done month to month. You can't do it for like the deals.
Does Amazon own like part of Canada? Because it feels like that's your only option for everything.
I don't know. It's really weird, honestly, because like, so obviously, as you all know, Amazon bought MGM Studios, but still offers MGM as a channel, even though they own all that content now. So like, I don't understand.
It's because it's just an additional revenue stream for people who don't know that.
How soon do you have to go to Amazon for air? Just to get
I don't know.
Just to breathe. Like, hey.
I don't know. Here's my favorite thing. This is, I know we've gone on a tangent here, but welcome to PSXP. When you mentioned Amazon. So I love this Arizona, like the iced tea company, like Arizona half and half, like the Arnold Palmer, like half iced tea, half lemonade drink.
We're aware of it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, for people who aren't, because not all of our listeners are in the U.S. or Canada. We have listeners who aren't in Canada or the United States. It may not be a popular drink there. I don't know. Mr. Pastor Lucas Ham is in Brazil. I don't know if it's a popular drink there, okay?
But he's from the States.
I know he is.
You've seen an Arizona iced tea before.
I'm using Lucas as an example. Don't come at me like this. I love this drink, and I used to be able to buy it in like the big bottles, right? And I haven't been able to find it reliably here, so I'm looking for ways to buy it online, and all I'm finding are like the 24-ounce cans.
Canada sucks. It is just the absolute fucking worst. I would never want to move there. I don't give a fuck what America.
I think just Haley's Canada sucks because Sean Capri's Canada sounds amazing.
Does it though? Alberta has to deal with some weird political stuff. I'm not getting into that, but like there's a bunch of weird stuff over there. But Sean has a better time than I do, that's for sure.
Clearly, because your Canada sounds horrible. Thousands of dollars for consoles. $100 for games.
Hey, to be fair, Sean paid the same price for his console that I did mine because Sean lives in Canada and that price was Canada wide. But other than that, yes, Sean has a better time than I do.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's move on and get out of this random, ridiculous
I'd rather stay
tangent.
in the US for my racism.
What? How is that racism? How is that racism?
No. He's just saying he'd rather stay here and deal with our racism than go to Canada and deal with y'all's mess.
Okay. I thought you were saying you were being racist against Canada, and I was like, what?
No. I'd rather deal with my racism than you have to deal with y'all overpriced everything and can't get nothing in Canada.
It's not even that it's overpriced. You're paying the same amount you'd be paying in U.S. dollars. The conversion rate. So
it's because the dollar sucks. But like the point being is that like it's still like funny that I thought you were talking about being racist against Canada. Which how do you be racist against an entire country?
I love Canadian women, for that matter.
Oh, here we
go. That's the only thing that would probably get me to move there.
Oh my god.
Moving along. So our last little story before we jump into the slightly larger topic is Chris Judge, the voice of Kratos, is going to be the voice of T'Challa in Marvel's Avengers. Originally, he did not want to do this because he just felt like, it should not be recast. Black Panther is Chadwick, and it's going to be hard for anyone to live up to that. When you see Black Panther, most people are going to think of Chadwick Boseman, his performance, and that, for all intents and purposes, is basically Black Panther. But after talking to his family, they were like, "Look, you gonna do this, or we gonna disown you." So he ended up deciding to take the job, and so now we have Chris Judge, the voice of Kratos, as the voice of the Black Panther in Marvel's Avengers. It'll be really interesting to see what that looks like and how it sounds and how people react to it. I think that people are really looking forward. People who play Avengers, I should say, are really looking forward to this expansion. Just because it looks like it could be really good. So it'll be really interesting to see how his voice lands and how people react to it.
So not to fault you, but I love that this is apparently a news story because this was known since they announced the Wakanda expansion that Chris Judge was voicing Black Panther. Also, I love the misreporting on how much content is being added with this, which people were like, "Oh yeah, it's a 25-hour story." And I'm like, no, they were talking about how much is between the main Avengers story and the expansion is 25 hours. Not a 25-hour Wakanda expansion, which 25 hours for Wakanda would be great, but that's not what the story was talking about.
Yeah. I never saw anything about who the voice actor was. I always thought it was Chadwick. I had never paid any attention.
It was announced as being Chris Judge the day that the Wakanda expansion was announced. But like, I guess because there's more like footage and stuff out there now, it makes more sense to bring it back, and now it's catching people's attention. But yeah, I don't know. It'll be interesting. I'm not gonna play it, not because I don't want to. I'm just tired of fighting robots. So
yeah, I wonder if that's. They said it's gonna be new enemy types as well in this one. So hopefully it's not a bunch of stupid robots in Wakanda and we get something else. But I mean, I definitely am gonna play it because Black Panther. How could you not?
Yeah, I'm definitely gonna play it. I'm excited for it. I like that Chris Judge is gonna be the voice of Black Panther. And I understand where he's coming from in terms of like, I don't know if I want to take on that role because I'm gonna call a spade a spade. Chadwick Boseman's portrayal of Black Panther may be the greatest portrayal of a black superhero that we've seen on live action. That's even including Blade. And that's no offense to Wesley Snipes or anything like that. It's just that Wesley Snipes' Blade was not necessarily Afrocentric. It was just Wesley Snipes playing a character, which was cool. He did a great job at it. Whereas Black Panther and Chadwick Boseman's portrayal of Black Panther was just intertwined with black culture in so many ways, so many facets. It became a moment in black history where everybody kind of gathered around to see this thing. Like when Black Panther came out, people were wearing dashikis to go see the movie. It was a movement. People loved his portrayal in it, and I'm glad we got the movies that we got with him in it. And he did such a great job in that role.
And he's coming back for, well, obviously like posthumously, but like he had recorded stuff for What If before he passed. So
you know what it kind of feels like to me? How for a long time we didn't get another Superman movie because people felt like, well, Christopher Reeve's all Superman. People are not going to accept Superman as anybody else.
I wouldn't consider that a fair comparison because I think Chadwick's, and again, I'm white, so please correct me if I say anything out there. Like, I'm not trying to, but like, I don't want to say anything and not be called out because it's stupid or whatnot, right? Like, I don't think that's a fair comparison just because I don't think, like, Christopher Reeve, great Superman, but Chadwick's performance as Black Panther, which I've actually seen now, was fantastic. And also, like, you know, you've mentioned Blade, but like, it was definitely like a different experience watching Black Panther than it was like Blade. Like, I don't know that that's comparable to like the Christopher Reeve Superman movies, just because like thought and time was put in to Black Panther to like, you know, take in like black culture and stuff. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, but it's the fact that Christopher Reeve landed that role the way he landed it. It was he, like, for all intents and purposes, the way Chadwick Boseman is T'Challa, Christopher Reeve was Superman. Yeah.
Okay.
And so I feel like the comparison is fair in terms of how well they landed that character. And when you think about that character, that's who you think of. And it was like that for so long. Not for you, because you weren't even born when Superman came out as Christopher Reeve.
Hey, but when Superman came out as Christopher Reeve, that's a very funny line. You know. That's such a funny line. But like, I've seen all 4 of Christopher Reeve's like Superman movies like numerous times, and like, it's a shame they don't really hold up anymore, even on like the 4K prints. But like they're like I've seen them and even still
But you didn't grow up with it, and like people
I
who
did,
don't
though.
grow up with Chadwick Boseman as Black Panther, like down the road, they're not gonna see it that way.
What do you mean down the road? Marvel has explicitly said they will never recast him in the movies.
I get that. Eventually. Yeah, that and the fact that if you're just reading comic books and you've never seen this, like you're not gonna grow up with that.
That's fair, but like your point that I didn't grow up with him. I saw the Christopher Reeve Superman movies before I watched Smallville, and Smallville went on for 10 years that I watched week to week. So like,
but it wasn't a movement for you, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, okay.
When those Superman movies came out, that was like the first really big superhero movie. Mm-hmm. People like, even the ones that weren't good, they were like events. Like people went to go see it and stuff like that. Were excited for it. It's like kind of the same thing with Black Panther. When he was first seen in Civil War, people were like hyped to see Black Panther. Like, holy crap, Black Panther on the screen. And then you have him in Infinity War and Endgame. People were, when I went to go see Endgame, and that big ending scene happened where, after the cap on your left, the three people that got the loudest cheers were Spider-Man, Black Panther, and I want to say Doctor Strange.
Yes. No. At least in the like
when I went, it was loud for Black Panther. Yeah. People were cheering, like screaming, as pretty much the same level they were screaming for Peter Parker.
You have you seen that clip that continually goes around Twitter of like the recorded audience reaction to the Endgame like Avengers Assemble thing?
Yes.
The three loudest reactions in that video are Black Panther, Doctor Strange, and Spider-Man.
It's crazy.
And then obviously and then the end reaction of like Cap tying the broken shield against his arm and grabbing Mjolnir and saying Avengers Assemble. Like that gets a louder cheer than all three of them, but like that's payoff from like people recognizing in Ultron that he could have lifted the hammer if he wanted to, but he didn't.
Yeah. It's crazy how much a character like Black Panther that people kind of like only Black culture knew about, and even so, it wasn't that many.
Yeah,
came to the big screen and made such a big impact on so many people. Whether you're Black, white, Asian, people got that character. So I understand his trepidation of not wanting to take up that mantle.
No, and
that's a heavy burden.
This is a completely different situation as well. But like we're gonna disown you if you don't take this role is the same thing that I think I don't remember if it was Michael Gambon or if it was reversed, but one of the actors who played Dumbledore, his like daughter, was like, "I'll never speak to you again if you don't take this role."
I feel, and this is on the same level. I feel like the next person who plays Wolverine is going to have a hard time playing that role because everybody thinks of Hugh Jackman as Wolverine. It's just kind of that thing.
Yeah, I feel like they'd be smart to not do Wolverine and do X-23 or whatever her name is. Just go with her.
Then people are just going to think of the girl who played X-23 in Logan.
No, I'm saying use her.
Okay. I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
I mean, if we can bring what's his face from Deadpool, we can bring her.
What do you mean? What's his face from Deadpool?
Ryan Reynolds. I couldn't think of his name.
No.
I don't care about actors like that.
I'm not judging. I couldn't think of his name. No. That's not my point. I was just saying. What do you mean if we can bring? Yeah, Ryan Reynolds signed into the MCU. Like he actively
that's my point.
Yeah, but he has a contract because he's like you're not doing Deadpool without me. Like Deadpool exists because I wanted it to exist.
That's my point.
Form.
If we can bring him and he can do that, we can also bring the chick who played X-23. Like
I'm sure we could. They could also bring Hugh Jackman if they really wanted to, and I'm sure Hugh Jackman would sign.
He said he wasn't doing it no more.
I would like to very humorously quote Stephen Amell saying, "I will never play Green Arrow again," and then he proceeded to play Green Arrow in a comedy short like 3 weeks later. So
Hugh Jackman is also old, which is part of it.
Okay, and
that's part of the reason why he doesn't want to play it. Like your boy that's doing Jax. He's like, I'm tired of being shirtless. I'm 50. All right.
Your boy that's doing what?
The actor that plays Drax, Batista. He was part of the reason why he said he's not doing it no more. He's like, I'm 50. I'm tired of having my shirt off.
Yeah.
That's such a funny line.
He doesn't want to work out no more.
No, it's not that he doesn't want to work out because he got more yoked for Army of the Dead than he was for For the Guardians of the Galaxy movie, which, by the way, if you've not seen Army of the Dead, fantastic movie. So, you know,
Yeah.
It's a movie. It's a zombie heist film, and it's pure stupidity, but I love it.
I'm only halfway through. I didn't watch the rest.
And also, there's going to be a prequel film and an anime related to it as well, all released by Netflix. So,
all things I won't watch. No desire. Zombies. I'm so tired of zombies. We need something new.
How about Triberids? I love that I confused you both with that last week.
What the heck? No.
Werewolf, witch, vampire?
No.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Hey, Delvin, do me a favor and read my Discord status right now.
All right, let me go.
And while he searches for that, our topic of the week: Sony is skipping yet another conference. Apparently, PlayStation is likely skipping Gamescom 2021. EA, Ubisoft, Xbox, and more are already confirmed to attend, but it looks like PlayStation yet again will be opting out of one of the large shows. My question to you guys is, does this matter? Gamescom is probably the largest video game conference worldwide, just from just an attendance and just how big the show is. It is the biggest one. Sony typically is there and they have stuff for it, but I don't know that there's anything ever super groundbreaking for them at Gamescom. So does it matter that they aren't there?
I don't know. Do we have confirmation that they're actually skipping it, or is this just inferred from the fact that Sony hasn't said anything yet?
That's just it. It's just that they are not signed up. They are not slated to attend right now.
So there's no confirmation that they're not slated to attend.
There's no confirmation that they're slated to attend, while there's several other confirmations from all the other.
Sony is always last minute with Gamescom, and even still, like the last Gamescom, all they had there was Ratchet and Clank. So I don't know that it matters. Again, there's more rumors of a big event for Sony in August anyways, so I don't know.
I've stopped paying attention to all of those rumors because there's always a rumor.
I love that you have already muted the Game Leaks and Rumors channel in the Discord, by the way, because I never see you in there anymore.
I muted it as soon as it popped up.
Yeah.
As soon as it was a thing, I was like, "Oh, we're muting this."
It's the same thing as the other day when we were talking about something in general. And Delvin posted in PlayStation. You were like, "We're already talking about this," and he's like, "I told you I ain't going there."
Go on there.
What'd you think of my status, by the way, Delvin?
I just shook my head.
Hope Michelson fan club, everybody.
Whoever that is.
That is the Triber.
That is the vampire slash werewolf
slash witch from the Vampire Diaries universe. Yep, correct. Thank you. It's also what my Tumblr blog says. But no, I don't know. I don't know that it really matters because, again, really all they have to announce for the rest of the year is, whether or not Horizon's coming. They've already announced when Death Stranding Director's Cut is coming. Deathloop comes out on the 14th of September. So I don't know that they have much more to announce for this year. I know people are like feisty for more, like, for actual God of War Ragnarok footage, but like I don't know that we'll see any of that this year. I don't know.
Yeah, I just feel like they don't need to go to any of these shows. Sony has shown that, like, just like Nintendo, you can just do a direct. Why do we need to show up at these large shows? Like, what's the return on investment? I feel like it costs a lot to actually show up and build booths and do all this stuff for these shows when you can still reach the audiences that you need to reach by just doing a direct. Like, is there really any return on the investment?
That doesn't make any sense for this show though this year. It's online only again.
I understand, but why do I need to put up something for them and partner with them when I can just do my own thing and have my own time? Like, that's my whole thing around all of the shows at this point. Like, it's kind of proven that you really don't need to come to any of these, especially for Sony. Like, you can just put up your own thing. Same with Nintendo. Do a direct, and you know the people are gonna flock to it. So do I need to be in attendance to a Gamescom? Do I need to be in attendance to E3? Do I need to be in attendance to Tokyo Game Show? For what? If I can just put my own show on and still get the same return on my investment, which is probably significantly less, do I need to be a part of any of these shows?
Let me counter that a little bit. I feel like when Sony puts on their own show, they generally only get Sony people to watch that show, as opposed to when it's on something like a Gamescom or E3. You may get people who are not necessarily Sony fans to watch it, and they might get something from it. Now I could be wrong, like I said, but I feel like there's an opportunity to get other people on your product when you put it out there in an event that features like Xbox, PC, Nintendo, and all that stuff. Because while you're here, I know you like Xbox and Microsoft stuff. Come check out our conference. See what we got over here. It's like, okay, we'll see that. And you make, like, for example, E3 this year didn't have Sony. That's fine. I still watched all the conferences. The one I enjoyed the most was the Microsoft one. I got more out of that Microsoft conference, which I probably wouldn't have normally watched, but because I like my Xbox. But my thing with Xbox is when the game comes, I buy it on there enough to go out there checking for stuff. All my information I get off of Xbox stuff usually comes off of the Game Pass podcast. Per se. Empire. So it's like, I normally wouldn't watch that type of stuff, but me seeing it on that platform that it was on the E3, which I probably, like I said, I don't not watch Microsoft's game stuff on its own. Me seeing it on the E3 made me more excited for what they're doing. And I feel like Sony's kind of missing out on getting that fan, as opposed to like when Sony puts out their stuff on their platform, like, hey, here's this Sony Direct or whatever you want to call it, State of Play. They're only going to get the PlayStation fan with that.
See, I kind of disagree with that. Only because the vast majority of like people who know what the hell a Gamescom is, they're already so entwined. Like Gamescom,
Yeah.
like most people don't know what the hell that is unless you're really paying attention to games. And most of those people already know about the Sony Directs and they're going to watch the Sony State of Plays and Nintendo Directs, stuff like that. Same with the way E3 was handed out at this point. Like people, unless you're like really paying attention, like you don't know.
Yeah.
And it just, I don't feel like it's really doing them any favors. Like I don't feel like you're catching an additional eye at this point by showing up at Gamescom that you wouldn't already have, or showing up at part of E3 when everybody knows in the summertime it's going to be some gaming stuff. If you're looking for Sony, you're just search for Sony. Like I just don't feel like you're adding any additional eyes that wouldn't already see it.
Well, you clearly are right, because their analytics clearly are showing this, because if it wasn't, they would be doing something.
I mean,
analytics are showing them like, hey, this is not working.
It's not just their analytics. Like, yes, analytics are stats based on like posthumous watches of their events, but like even still, and the Horizon State of Play is the best. Like from this year is the best. Look at this, where like even like the 5-hour countdown, like on Twitch alone, they had like 14,000 people watching that 5-hour countdown. Like
it's crazy.
Like it was packed. People just watching a static screen change every like couple of seconds. Like
yeah,
they weren't even sharing info yet, and like 14,000 people.
Yep.
That's a lot.
I mean, I think it definitely helps just to keep all of the information like in one little nicely tight, compact. You come here, everything is there. But I think for Nintendo and Sony, they've realized that they don't need to do that. Like their fan bases are large enough to where we can kind of stand out from the crowd. While that may not always be consumer friendly, it's something that they've realized that they can do.
I think the biggest counter, like not counter, but like thing is that maybe they just don't want to share much information this year, because like I've seen like, and this is an example because EA Play, like the actual event, I know they've had like panels like in the past week and a half, but like their actual like, hey, here's content event is Thursday afternoon. they have now had BioWare and EA, like Star Wars, come out and say, hey, we have nothing at the show. And I keep seeing people online being like, then what the hell is the point? And I'm like, the point is to show you new Madden, new FIFA, new NHL, and probably whatever the hell EA motive is, not EA, whatever the Dead Space rumor is, and what they're working on. And I don't think this is actually happening because, again, I don't think we're actually seeing a release of that game until 2024, but maybe even get skate footage. And that's about it because they've said it's what, like a 40-minute show on?
Yeah.
Yeah. Like that's why you're not seeing BioWare and Respawn there for EA Star Wars. Like, I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
Like,
it's definitely weird. Like these last 2 years, everything is weird. Everything gets delayed, and like you said, like Sony may not have information they're ready or want to share yet. That's the other thing. It's like we've become so beholden to like you got to tell us something. We want to know something, but what if there really just isn't anything to share?
Like, again, my point being is the only thing they really need to tell people for the rest of the year is whether or not Horizon is coming out. That's it. Because we already know Gran Turismo was delayed last year, and we knew that in April. We knew that God of War wasn't coming this year, and no offense to anybody, but anybody who ever thought God of War was coming out in 2021 is crazy because all we saw was a logo when it was revealed.
Nice
like,
logo,
it was a nice logo, but still, like, anybody who thought that game was actually coming out in 2021 was insane. Like that game was not coming out this year.
No,
like,
I don't think it's coming out next year, honestly.
I don't think it's coming out next year either. Also, like, I'm gonna, like, I don't know if I might link to this when I post the show on Monday. But Steve Saylor and Paris Lilly just had a great conversation about like games that were announced for like 2021, 2022. Some of them might even become 2023, 2024 games because of COVID. Like, they had a great conversation over on Steve Saylor's YouTube channel about this. But like, I don't know. Like, really, all they need to tell us is Horizon coming out this fall or is it not? And then that's it. Because all the other stuff that they've been showing is indie related. Like, people are like, where's information for Stray? Well, Annapurna has an event coming out soon, so like, you'll probably find out when Stray's coming out there. Because that's their game. Like, it's coming to Sony platforms, but it's also coming to PC. It doesn't need to be at a Sony event to announce the release date. Like, I don't know.
Yeah.
And people are like, well, we haven't seen more Kena footage. You did. It was at Tribeca Game Show, and that's why Sony didn't have it at the last event. So, but again, it has a release date. It's next month, like a week after Hades comes out on both Xbox and PlayStation, so you'll be fine.
Yeah, it's just what could they show at Gamescom unless they want to surprise us with like PSVR 2 information or something like that? But do you need to? Like, that's the other thing.
I don't know.
I feel like for them right now, if you're focusing on the fall, if Horizon is coming out, that's your focus. Otherwise, let the third parties deal with it. The fall is third party heaven. There's no need for Sony really to hype up anything for the fall when they have basically pulled out of the fall. Like, they don't launch large games in the fall anymore. Like, past October, like, they're done. Like, they typically don't have anything come out in November, December, even late October. Like, they're just like, no, let the third parties have it. We'll just release our games in spring. So once you're done with that stuff, boom, here you go. Here's a Horizon. Here's a Last of Us. Here's a whatever. Like, there's not a whole lot of need, and I would say.
People's mentioning of like, well, they just don't want another like event where Horizon and Breath of the Wild are competing for Game of the Year in the same show. I doubt that's the reason why we don't have a release date for Horizon yet. So like that's I don't think Sony cares whether Horizon got Game of the Year or not. Like, Horizon was a critically acclaimed game. Yeah, it didn't get Game of the Year. Breath of the Wild did, but okay. People still enjoyed Horizon. Like, I don't think they care about that.
Yeah.
And even if they did care, Nintendo's already come out and said that they're aiming for 2022 for Breath of the Wild, but they're not sure that it's coming in 2022. So, like...
Right. And quite honestly, are Horizon and Breath of the Wild 2 really competing? Most people that are going to play those games are going to play them both.
Exactly.
And I don't like. I think that that's such a weird thing to be like.
It
Oh man,
is.
they're
It
competing. I'm like,
is.
are they though?
Two very
That
People
different
who
games.
that
buy Nintendo play Nintendo games, and
that
like they typically have another console too. Maybe like I don't
that's
think
my
it's a
favorite
competition.
thing when they're like first person shooters are competing against each other, and I'm like, yeah, maybe for multiplayer, but like there's a very distinct audience who likes Battlefield and a very distinct audience who likes Call of Duty. They're not stealing audiences from each other, like
Yeah.
because there's the player who likes Battlefield for the more realistic gunplay, and then there's the player who likes Call of Duty because it takes 3 seconds to kill someone. Like
Yep.
they
Like
they're
yeah,
they're a completely
Battlefield's
different
not.
audience.
They're not stealing any Call of Duty players, and it's
No.
vice versa. Like it's so funny how they're always like, "Oh, we don't want to launch up against that," but it's like you're really not. You
The
launch when you
only
launch, and you're gonna get your audience regardless. They're not all gonna just go play Call of Duty. Like that's just not the way
The only
those
time
gamers
I've
are.
ever seen that argument be valid is when they had Battlefield, like Titanfall and Call of Duty all released within 3 weeks of each other. That's the only time I've ever seen that argument be valid. And that pretty much killed Titanfall, like, because Call of Duty and Battlefield won. So, like,
Even with that, I feel like it was Titanfall is still so different.
yeah. I mean, then there's, of course, the whole, like, Titanfall issue, like, where, like the hacking situation that's going on with Titanfall right now, and there's only like 1 to 2 people working on fixing it, but like that's even still like not related to this conversation, but like a point to be made of like you're not stealing audiences from each other. I'm sorry, people who enjoy Apex are probably not going to go play Titanfall. So
Yeah, I think that situation was just more of a situation where there's only so much marketing dollars that not marketing dollars, like gamer dollars that can go out to first person shooter games at one point in time. Like, most people aren't gonna buy Call of Duty, Titanfall, and Battlefield at the same time. If you know one out of those 3 games is gonna go on sale really soon, 9 times out of 10 Titanfall, I can wait on this one.
Titanfall 2 is on sale in the store right now for like $7.99 for the Ultimate Edition. So like
if you know this one will go on sale soon. I can get Call of Duty right now, play with my friends. If I want the story for Battlefield, I can go get that right now. I'll be good. I can wait on Titanfall. And I think that's what most people did.
I played Titanfall. Let's skip both the other 2.
Titanfall is fun.
Yeah, I picked up Titanfall 2 at launch. I didn't get Call of Duty or Battlefield, but I'm not a Call of Duty or Battlefield gamer.
No, it's like I only ever played Call of Duty with Stone, and then like so haven't heard from Stone in a while actually.
So yeah, Sony is probably gonna skip Gamescom. There's just not. I don't think there's anything for them to really show, and I don't think it really matters at this point. Yeah. So
because like before we wrap this up, like again, like I've said, the only thing they need to tell us is Horizon. But because like they're not gonna in a show tell you, oh, and now the NVMe drive works. No, they're gonna post on the PlayStation blog that's enabled now. Like the same thing for like whatever like that beta they had people sign up for whenever that content is coming. They're gonna post in the blog about that. They're not gonna put that in a show, like because I'm sorry to tell you, like the 3 of us, well actually the 2 of us, Delvin, I know sometimes you just don't care, but like Dev and I and other people who care about the technical aspects are gonna go read that, but a lot of other people don't care. Like they're like, I want games, not this crap. Like
and the blog post will get picked up by every other outlet in America, and they will go ahead and just say, hey, this is on. And so everybody else will find the information without a problem. You don't need to have a show for that.
Yeah.
You just don't.
Just wait till Dev comes on here and says, hey, the drive's open. Like, all right, I can go buy him.
I think my favorite thing is when you bought like your CX and you're like, I don't know, I just bought like this nice TV, and then you showed us the box and definitely like, yeah, you bought the best TV on the market, bud. Like, that's how much you don't care about tech.
Yeah, when the drive is available, I'll send you a link. Say, hey, get this one.
That'll be it. That'll just be the end of the conversation. Like, all right, this is what I'll get.
Like it's so good.
Yeah,
it's so funny to watch you be like, I don't give a crap about technical stuff at all. Just tell me what I can use.
Show me the games. Just give me the games. I will play them all.
How does it look? Does it look good?
I will find time, even though I'm on podcast like 36 hours out of a 24-hour day.
Yes, that's accurate. Very accurate.
Yeah, I'm convinced Delvin has the ability to just stop time. Not even a time machine, just stop time.
I I wish I did. That would be so cool.
Would it though? Because like eventually you'd start aging faster than people. You know that, right?
I'm fine with that.
Yeah, Black don't crack. He's good.
Yeah,
We're good.
I'm fine.
Jesus. What a way to end the topic.
And that'll do it for episode 92 of the PlayStation Experience. We hope you enjoyed yourself here. Please feel free to holler at us. Give us a follow over on them Twitters at PlayStation XP. Stop by the blog at psvg.blog or the Discord at psvg.blog/Discord and join us in all of our shenanigans there. Last but not least, we'd like to invite you to be a part of our Patreon over at patreon.com/PSVG. And if you enjoy our content here, there's a slew of additional content to be had for just $3 a month. I believe we just posted a new Strong Style episode.
That's correct.
1 sec, I guess.
The hell was that?
It's like,
That was literally the buzzard of my apartment. 1 sec.
okay, I was worried that it was like a bomb alarm or something, like the nuke was about to hit. Like that's what I was.
Oh.
That sounded like some craziness.
I don't know what the
Wow.
hell that was. That's a terrible buzzer.
Yeah, that's creepy. Like that's like time to go to the panic room type of alarm.
Yeah, fallout shelter buzzer.
Yeah. You sure you don't need to go to like a fallout shelter or something, Haley? Because that buzzer didn't sound normal. That sounded like it's time. The bombs are coming.
It's
Get to the panic room.
It's what panic room? This apartment does. My bedroom is not big enough for a 25-year-old woman. Like, what are you talking about? What panic room? There's no panic room in this apartment.
Well, you're screwed.
Also, like, it's way worse when they just hold the button down incessantly and it just goes off because like, yeah.
Yikes.
Also, people not for like just remember your keys, people. It's a simple fob. Like, just bring it with you, please. Why am I the person you're buzzing to get in the apartment? Like,
They're robbing somebody. Those are tricks to rob people.
Yeah.
Somebody's getting robbed tonight. Yeah. Well, I'll go ahead and thank our patrons in the producer level. Mr. Michael Masick, Edwin Callow, Stephen Keller, Nick Creature, Ben Moxon, Nick Fall Harbor, Paul Calico, Kyle Heyman, myself, Josh the Bone Saw Ramon, RJ Kern, Horse Girl 69, Zach Adams, and Joe Wilson. Thank you guys all for joining us on the journey that is PSVG. With that in mind, let people know where they can find you, Haley.
you can find me over on Twitter at Shepard Zarel. You can find me on your game platform of choice at Haley Zarel. You can find me on twitch.tv/Haley Zarel whenever I get a chance to stream again, because, oh boy, I don't know. Then if you're interested in my shenanigans over at Tumblr, it's haleyzarel.tumblr.com. Again, it's literally titled Hope Michelson Fan Club. So, yeah.
Jeebus. Delvin, where can the people find you?
Find me on Twitter at Delvin_Cox. Check out the Delvin Cox Experience anywhere you get podcasts.
And you can find me at Dat Ninja Dev pretty much everywhere. Feel free to follow, join, talk some trash, all that good stuff. And with that, long live play.
PlayStation